Here are Grandpa's 37 genius outdoor survival hacks you wish you knew sooner. Rub chapstick on cotton to light fire. One of the simplest fire starters involves something most folks already carry: chapstick. Grandpa always kept a tube in his jacket, not just for chapped lips, but to boost his cotton ball fire starters. The waxy balm makes cotton burn longer, giving you precious time to build up your kindling. This method works even in damp or windy conditions, making it ideal for survival kits or emergency gear. Smear a generous dab onto the cotton ball, fluff it slightly, and spark it with a lighter or ferro rod. For extra security, store prepped cotton balls in a film canister or sealed bag. Turn soda can tab into hook. Did you know that soda can tabs can be transformed into makeshift fishing hooks in an emergency? The aluminum is soft enough to cut and shape, yet strong enough to hold a catch. Cut one end of the tab to expose a sharp curve and file the edge using a rock or metal to create a point. Then pierce a small hole opposite the point to thread your line. This works best when paired with string, dental floss, or stripped cord. Add a piece of bait, bugs, bread, or scrap meat to increase your chances. Always carry a multi-tool to make shaping easier. Use shoelace as bow drill cord. When you need to start a fire the primitive way, a strong shoelace can serve as the perfect bow drill cord. Grandpa once showed how the lace's woven strength held up through friction, making it far superior to brittle twine. The shoelace loops tightly around the drill spindle and resists snapping under tension. Look for round synthetic laces, which tend to hold knots better and won't fray quickly. Combine this with a curved branch and a flat handhold to complete the setup. Keep your lace dry and knot it securely to prevent slipping during strokes. Always double-check your spindle tension. Burn crayon stub as candle. Crayons aren't just for drawing. They can double as emergency candles when you're caught without light. A standard crayon is made mostly of wax and has a paper wrapper that acts like a wick. Light the paper, and the flame will slowly consume the crayon, giving about 15 to 30 minutes of steady light. They're lightweight, compact, and safe to toss in a bag or glove compartment. Break longer crayons into halves to stretch your supply. This method is especially handy for shelter lighting or reading maps. Always set the crayon upright in a stable holder like a bottle cap or bit of clay. Pack duct tape flat on card. Carrying a full roll of duct tape while hiking wastes space, but that doesn't mean you should leave it behind. Instead, wrap lengths of tape around an old playing card or hotel key to create a flat, portable stash. This takes up minimal room and keeps the adhesive fresh and ready. Use it to repair tents, shoes, gear straps, or even patch holes in clothing. Peel off what you need without the bulk. Cut strips in varying lengths for quicker access. To store neatly, trim the edges of the card once wrapped or wrap around itself like a tight ribbon. Fold soda can into bark cup. An empty soda can isn't trash, it's survival material. With careful cuts and bends, the thin aluminum can be folded into a basic bark cup shape, perfect for holding water, berries, or even broth. The metal is pliable, yet holds form, and when shaped like a funnel or bowl, it can serve for sipping or scooping. Be sure to smooth any sharp edges with a rock or sand to avoid cuts. Always sanitize the cup before use if it's been used for anything previously. For a better grip, wrap paracord around the edges before filling it with anything hot or acidic. Stretch plastic bag for rain catch. Collecting rainwater is one of the easiest ways to stay hydrated outdoors, and a plastic bag can be your best friend. Stretch a bag wide between sticks or tie it between trees, creating a makeshift basin to catch falling rain. The plastic will naturally sag under the weight of water, forming a usable pouch. Position the opening toward the sky and secure it to keep bugs and debris out. If possible, elevate the setup above ground level to prevent contamination. Add a clean cloth filter at the spout if you're drinking directly. Always carry a few bags in your kit. Strike spark with belt buckle. In a pinch, you can spark a fire using the metal edge of your belt buckle and a ferro rod. Grandpa kept a thick buckled belt on long treks, not just for utility, but as a backup fire striker. The buckle's sharp edge scrapes against the ferro rod to produce hot sparks strong enough to ignite dry tinder. It's best to strike at an angle, directing the sparks into your prepared fire nest. Practice this skill before heading into the wild so you're not learning under pressure. For extra reliability, coat the ferro rod in wax to prevent rust over time. Sharpen knife on mug bottom. Your favorite camping mug has a hidden talent. It doubles as a knife sharpener. The unglazed ring on the bottom of most ceramic mugs provides just enough grit to hone a dull edge. Simply flip the mug over, wet the ring slightly, and run your blade along it at a 20-degree angle. With a few strokes on each side, your blade regains slicing power. This works best for quick field sharpening, not complete regrinding. Always clean the ceramic ring afterward to avoid buildup. Add a drop of water or spit to help polish the edge more evenly as you go. Seal matches inside straw tube. Keeping matches dry is crucial in a survival situation, and one of the smartest ways is sealing them inside a drinking straw. Cut a straw into segments, a bit longer than the matchstick, insert the match, and seal both ends using pliers and a lighter. The result is a watertight, crush-resistant mini case that weighs nearly nothing. Label different colors of straws for various uses like regular, stormproof, or wax-dipped matches. Pack them in multiple pockets to avoid losing your only set. For quick access, snip open with a pocket knife and strike against a rock or rough surface. Stuff dryer lint in straw tinder. Dryer lint might seem like household waste, but it's actually one of the best fire starters you can pack. Lightweight, fluffy, and highly flammable, lint fits perfectly inside cut straw segments to keep it protected and dry. To make, stuff a small amount of lint into a short straw, seal the ends with heat, and toss it into your emergency kit. When you need a fire, slice open the straw and fluff the lint for maximum ignition. For even longer burn time, add a dab of petroleum jelly before sealing. Pack several in different sizes for layered fire starting options. Cook fish inside soda can. Did you know that soda cans can serve as makeshift cooking containers in survival scenarios? Aluminum distributes heat evenly, allowing you to cook small fish over an open flame without burning them. Cut the can open lengthwise, clean the interior, and place the cleaned fish inside. Position the can near coals or on rocks around the fire to heat slowly. This method helps preserve moisture and reduces cooking time while avoiding direct flame. Always rotate the can for even cooking. As a bonus tip, you can also use the can as a windbreak for your cooking area. Cut tin can lid scraper. Transform a tin can lid into a rugged scraper for cleaning, bark shaving, or flint striking. Use a safety can opener to remove the lid cleanly. Flatten the metal and dull the edges using a rock or file. Then wrap one side in tape or cloth for grip. This creates a useful, multi-purpose edge when knives aren't available. It excels at scraping fat off hides, soot from cookware, or moss from bark. Always wear gloves to prevent injury. Sharpen the edge slightly on a smooth stone to improve its cutting ability. Keep extras packed flat inside a cookpot lid. Wrap paracord on bottle handle. Paracord wrapped tightly around a water bottle handle gives you backup cordage without taking extra space. Start with a basic knot, then use cobra weave or spiral wrap to keep things snug. This gives you 6 to 10 feet of usable cord depending on the bottle's size. Inside the paracord are finer threads useful for fishing, stitching, or tying snares. Use colored wraps to distinguish bottles or mark purpose-specific tools. Unravel as needed for shelter lines or repair tasks. Keep the cord dry to prevent mold and decay. Always carry a lighter or striker nearby in case you need to melt ends quickly. Make wick from shoelace string. Shoelaces can become emergency wicks when other materials fail, something Grandpa once demonstrated near a backwoods lake. Remove the plastic tips and soak the cotton core in wax, cooking grease, or oil. Insert it into a makeshift container like a bottle cap or can lid with wax. Light it carefully and it will burn steadily for several minutes, giving you light or fire-starting flame. Use thicker braided laces for longer burn time. Never use synthetic laces which can melt or smoke heavily. Flash signal with can bottom mirror. The shiny underside of an aluminum can creates an improvised mirror perfect for signaling in open areas. Buff the surface using toothpaste, wood ash, or fine dirt to increase its reflectivity. Hold the can near eye level and use a 2-finger V to aim reflected light toward rescuers or aircraft. 3 flashes signal distress. Practice aiming in advance to know how sunlight moves with tilt. Keep the surface dry and scratch-free. Store can bottoms in gear bags as backup reflectors. Pair this with a whistle or bright fabric for stronger survival visibility across water, forest, or desert landscapes. Line boots with cardboard warmth. Cut pieces of dry cardboard to match your insole shape and insert them inside your boots beneath the regular footbed. This adds insulation, prevents heat loss, and keeps your feet from direct contact with cold boot soles. It's particularly useful in the cold weather camps or when hiking snowy trails without thermal liners. Cardboard also absorbs moisture and helps keep socks dry. Replace as needed once damp. Layer 2 pieces for extra comfort if space allows. Fold extras flat in your pack's side pocket for emergencies. This trick is lightweight, free, and an effective warmth hack often overlooked by modern gear lists. Carved spoon from bottle plastic. Plastic bottles can be transformed into emergency utensils using a knife, rock, or sharp edge. Cut a long strip with a wide end for the spoon bowl, then slowly shape the neck into a handle. Heat gently over a flame to mold curves or strengthen weak points. These improvised spoons are lightweight and reusable, making them ideal for camps without gear. Avoid burning the plastic. Use just enough heat to soften and shape. Store cut blanks in your pack as flat, prepped sheets. For extra durability, layer 2 pieces together and fuse with heat before carving the final shape. Tie bandana into water filter. A tightly tied bandana can act as the first stage of water filtration in the field. Fold it over several times and secure it across the opening of a container. Pour questionable water through slowly to remove dirt, leaves, and debris. This won't eliminate bacteria, but it reduces turbidity, helping other purification methods work better. Use layered cloth for finer filtration. After use, rinse the bandana thoroughly and hang it to dry in sunlight to reduce bacterial growth. If no clean container is available, stretch it over your canteen and secure with twine, wire, or even a rubber band. Heat flat rock to press clothes dry. When soaked clothes won't air dry fast enough, use flat rocks heated near a fire as emergency irons. Set stones next to, not in the flame, until they're warm to the touch, not scorching. Wrap damp fabric around the rock or press it flat against the surface. This evaporates moisture more quickly and smooths out wrinkles. Always test stone temperature with your palm before applying to avoid burns or melting synthetics. Ideal for drying socks, small shirts, or handkerchiefs in humid weather. Choose non-porous rocks that won't crack when heated. Rotate fabric every few minutes for even drying results. Use wire hanger as cooking spit. A basic wire hanger can serve as a small roasting spit when tools are limited. Straighten it out and run it through sausages, fish, or sliced vegetables. Bend the ends into handles or anchor points. Suspend it between rocks or across a tin can fire pit for roasting. Never use painted or coated hangers. Scrape clean or burn off any residues before using for food. The metal withstands moderate heat and bends easily for packing or adjusting angles. If you double up the wire, it holds larger food more securely. Wipe down thoroughly before reuse to prevent rusting. Burn pine resin lump for light. Pine resin, also called pitch, is a natural, long-burning fuel you can collect from wounded trees. It forms as a hard amber lump on bark and oozes thickly when scraped. This substance catches flame quickly and burns like a candle. Place a lump on a rock or tin surface and light with a spark or match. Use it for emergency lighting, fire starting in wet conditions, or heating a small cook surface. Don't inhale the smoke directly. It can irritate lungs. Store resin in wrapped leaves or foil to prevent mess in your gear. Melt and pour into makeshift wax cups. Store coals in rotten wood. Rotten or punky wood holds embers surprisingly well, making it useful for transporting fire. Hollow out a chunk, fill it with hot coals, and wrap loosely in green leaves or bark. The porous wood insulates the coals, allowing them to smolder for hours without open flame. This lets you restart a fire at your next stop without fresh ignition tools. Great in rain or when you're low on tinder. Always monitor for flare-ups while transporting. Place in a fireproof container or on a stone slab in your pack. Combine with birch bark or dry moss for a quicker relight. Twist bark strips into rope. Fresh bark from trees like willow or basswood can be turned into usable rope with a little effort. Peel long strips of inner bark while it's still damp and flexible, then twist one end tightly. Fold it so the two halves wrap around each other into a double-stranded cord. Splice in new strips to keep extending. The finished cord can support shelter frames, suspend gear, or tie down tarps. Keep it coiled when stored to prevent tangling. Braiding two twisted cords increases strength. Soaking the rope after forming, then drying it again, causes the fibers to contract and firm up further. Braid roots into snare cord. Long, flexible roots from cattail, spruce, or dogbane make excellent survival cordage when split and braided. Collect roots about pencil thickness, then soak them if dry. Split into 3 strands and braid tightly using a basic pattern, anchoring one end under a rock or by biting it. This makes cord strong enough for snares, lashings, or even tool handles. After drying, it stiffens slightly but remains durable. You can also hang gear or food with it if nothing else is available. Adding a simple loop at the end improves usability in field traps. Braid additional lengths to prepare emergency extras early. Trap fish with bottle funnel. Plastic bottles transform into passive fish traps with a sharp knife and simple bait. Cut off the top third, flip the neck inside the base, and secure with cord. Small fish swim in through the funnel and can't escape. Add bait like bugs, bread, or meat scraps. Anchor with rocks and submerge in shallow, calm water near the bank. Check every few hours. This works great when you lack a fishing rod. Fish collected this way can be boiled or smoked. Set multiple traps to increase success, spacing them out along a stream where fish naturally flow or gather. Pack socks with grass insulation. Dry grass stuffed inside socks creates a quick insulation barrier in cold, damp weather. Choose soft, seedless grass to avoid itchiness and pack it densely into the sock's footbed. This method works especially well for wool socks, which retain warmth even when moist. The extra layer traps body heat and cushions sore feet. Replace often to prevent mildew or irritation. Avoid using anything sharp, spiky, or alive. Moss also works, but grass is lighter and easier to find. Add a layer of plastic over the socks to protect from outside moisture and extend the heat-retaining effect in freezing temperatures. Boil water with hot stones. Did you know early survivalists could boil water without any metal gear by using fire-heated stones? Rocks like granite or basalt absorb intense heat and transfer it into water held in bark or clay containers. Heat several rocks in flames, then drop them, using a stick, into your water container. Repeat until it reaches a steady boil. Boil for at least 1 minute to purify it. Never use sandstone or wet rocks, which can crack or explode. Rotate stones to keep heating consistent. This is a reliable method when you lack pots, using nothing more than fire, stone, and simple containers. Dry socks fast over coals. Campfire coals work wonders for drying socks quickly, especially when the sun is down. Set up a rack from green twigs or branches and lay your socks above the embers, not in direct flame. Rotate every few minutes so they dry evenly and don't burn. Use a forked stick to prop them if needed. Wool socks hold shape best, while synthetics risk melting. Always wring out socks before drying to reduce time. Keep an eye on temperature and distance to avoid hardening the fabric. Press socks between warm stones, first if you're short on time and need a fast dry boost. Shape sapling fork for cooking tongs. You can create serviceable tongs from a single green sapling branch using nothing but a knife and patience. Choose a forked sapling that naturally splits into 2 limbs. Trim the ends into flat, squared tips and remove any rough bark. Flex them carefully to test for strength and adjust the angle for grip. These improvised tongs are perfect for flipping fish, turning meat, or moving hot rocks. Avoid brittle or dry branches, which may snap. Carve notches inside the tips to grip greasy items better. When finished, oil the wood lightly to prevent cracking from heat and repeated use. Press moss on bleeding cut. Moss serves as an age-old remedy in emergencies when sterile bandages aren't available. Soft green moss, especially sphagnum, is known for its natural absorbency and mild antimicrobial properties. Press a handful gently onto the bleeding area, applying steady pressure to stop the flow. Secure it with fabric, shoelace, or plant fibers. Moss won't replace modern bandages, but works as a short-term solution when injured outdoors. Always inspect the moss for insects before applying it to an open wound. Replace the moss regularly to maintain the cleanliness. For deeper cuts, Pair with elevation and a pressure wrap to slow heavy bleeding effectively. Knot shirt into makeshift net. Even a spare shirt can become a basic net with a few tight knots and creative folding. Stretch the fabric and cut it into strips or use it whole. Tie opposing ends in a diamond pattern, creating wide openings between the knots. Attach each corner to branches or poles to hold it open. This makeshift net can trap fish in shallow streams or catch falling debris. Shirts made of thin, tough fabric like cotton work best. Reinforce tension points by doubling fabric or tying knots through buttons. Use it vertically as well for catching small animals along narrow paths. Chew cattail stalk as toothbrush. Out in the wild, personal hygiene can be tricky, but cattail stalks offer a simple solution. Peel off the outer layers to expose the fibrous center, then chew one end until it frays into soft bristles. This makeshift toothbrush can help scrub away food particles and reduce plaque buildup without toothpaste. It won't replace floss, but it's better than nothing. Cattails grow in wet, marshy areas and are usually easy to spot. Rotate the stalk as it wears down. When finished, discard and grab a fresh piece. Rinse your mouth with clean water afterward for better results. Snare birds with bent sapling. Catching birds with minimal tools is possible using a bent sapling snare. Find a young, flexible tree no thicker than your wrist and anchor one end to the ground with a peg. Create a loop snare from cord or root and bait the center with berries or seeds. When triggered, the sapling springs upright, pulling the bird into the air. It's an ancient and effective method used for centuries by survivalists. Place snares near roosting sites or narrow game trails. Always test your mechanism multiple times before relying on it. Check traps often to prevent waste or animal distress. Bake bread on flat hot stone. One of the simplest bushcraft cooking tricks Grandpa often used was baking bread on a hot stone. Find a clean, flat rock and place it near or in your fire to heat evenly. Prepare a basic dough with flour and water, then flatten it into a disc and place it directly on the hot surface. Flip once the bottom browns. The rock distributes heat like a skillet, making it ideal for rustic flatbreads. Use a stick to test heat before placing dough. Clean the rock before use and avoid stones that sizzle. They may explode due to moisture inside. Wrap hide strips into sandals. Improvised footwear is possible with nothing more than rawhide or leather scraps. Cut the hide into long strips and soak them briefly to soften. Wrap the soles of your feet, then secure by crossing the strips over your toes, around the heel, and tying securely above the ankle. Layering provides better padding and protection from sharp ground. This method prevents blisters and keeps your feet insulated. Avoid overly thin strips that cut circulation. Reinforce soles with bark or cloth padding if terrain is rocky. Let the sandals dry into shape for better structure and reuse in later treks.